Happy birthday to
Sporting Almanac.
Happy birthday to
Sporting Almanac Podcast.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to
Sporting Almanac Podcast.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah. Happy anniversary. Bon anniversaire? Is that it in French?
Doesn't that mean both in French? Does that mean happy birthday and happy anniversary?
Probably. Either way.
Did you get me anything?
I got you some basic research notes.
Fantastic. It's just what I wanted.
And you got me the intro, because I didn't do it. Again.
Yes, and what an intro it was. One of my finest.
Yeah, I know. 1 whole year. Very fun. Back where it all began.
Yeah, first 2 episodes rolled into one together. Hopefully the audio is going to be better on this one than it was in the first episode. I'm not over that yet.
You probably never will be, because you have a perfectionist character.
I do still have the original save of it. I could probably go back and see if I can apply some tricks to it, but I don't think anything's going to help the fact that I sound like I was recording underwater. But you know, you live and learn.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're doing, isn't it? We're just giving it a go. Flying by the seat of our pants a little bit.
Indeed.
Hopefully more hits than misses.
Well, you know.
For others to
I
judge.
haven't had that many complaints.
For others to judge.
We've only had complaints in this past year from one very specific type of sports fan, and that is cycling fans who apparently don't like you talking about drugs with regards to cycling. Apparently you have to talk about other stuff as well. So apologies to them. Just make it so damn easy.
If they didn't do so many drugs.
Yeah, but it's got better recently, Ben.
Has it?
So today's episode, what we talking about today?
Not drugs. We're talking about the Masters, and we're gonna flirt with the Grand National again as well, because they're 2 giants of the sporting calendar. One's a British institution, the other an American institution, but both very much sporting institutions, steeped in history, steeped in culture. Just where would we be without them? Where would our weekends be without them, Jack?
I don't know if they often fall on the same weekend. They didn't last year. Which is why we did them as 2 separate episodes.
Yeah.
This year, though, yeah. So we're not going to get this first episode out before the tournament starts. Obviously, it's a 4-day tournament. It starts on Thursday. Chances are this will come out on Friday.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all about Sunday anyway, so...
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
And the National will be running on Saturday, so it will be in time for the National.
As always, yeah.
But yeah, we were going to start, or we wanted to start, just chewing the fat over the Masters and then leaving everybody with the National, didn't we? I think that's the order of play. Just because, I don't know what it is about the Masters, but there's just something so alluring about it.
It's the first major of the year, which helps.
That helps, yeah.
It's also the only major which stays in the same place every year, which helps.
That helps, that's true.
And it's also a stunningly beautiful place that you do not see for the other 361 days of the year.
It looks CGI'd.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't look real.
It doesn't look real. It's crazy how beautiful it is. I think on our intro on the last one we compared it to the Garden of Eden. And
I think
why not?
Yeah,
I don't think that's miles wrong. It is, I don't know, I guess if you're not a sports fan, maybe you wouldn't feel the same way. But I would say it's like Walt Disney could have drew it.
Yeah. It has a certain American charm to it, in that everything in America is sort of turned up to 11 and a little bit fake to begin with, which is why Disneyland's actually quite a good comparison. Like, it has this beautiful veneer. I would like to see it up close and see if it's as beautiful as it looks on TV, but I suspect it probably will be. That's not a criticism, by the way, when I say that. It's just a very Americanized thing for everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, St. Andrews is not perfect. Like, you can never call St. Andrews perfect. There are plenty of people who'd argue it is, because of its history, because of the challenge it gives you, but it doesn't look perfect in the same way. It's also, as I say, it's inaccessible. I drove through it, Augusta, last year, and I looked to see if there was any way at all I could get inside that club. There is no way of getting inside that club unless you're a member, or during the 4 days of the Masters, if you get on the ballot, you get a ticket and you get inside. Or obviously if you're a player.
Yeah, to
Can you
call it
qualify?
exclusive is an understatement. There's exclusive and then there's exclusive. You got to be, if you're a president, you still got to be invited down here. It's mad. That's how Mr. Eisenhower got there.
They'll name a tree after you and then they'll dig it up 50 years later.
Because people keep hitting it. Did get hit by lightning as well, I think, to be fair. But
yeah.
No, it's a remarkable place. It really genuinely is. I think it is bucket list territory for the sporting fan.
Top 5, I would say.
Top 5, yeah. I think that's not an unreasonable shout. That's a debate for another day, probably, actually. Pick our top 5.
I would say in terms of places, possibly number 1. Possibly number 1. It like, everything else would be events. Like, I'd love to go to a World Cup final. I'd love to go to a Super Bowl. But
sure, I see what you mean.
That's not a place. That's an event.
Yeah.
In terms of just a place. I mean, I'd go. If anyone invited me inside in bloody December, I'd go. Doesn't have to be for the Masters.
Oh, yeah, I'd just go on a tour around it. That would be enough. It would be insane to be there on a Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the problem is that there'll never be a Sunday worth going to because Tiger's not in contention anymore. A Sunday.
I mean, last year would have been pretty good.
Sunday. Well, last year would have been good. It would have been good, but it wouldn't have been Tiger in red marching towards another victory.
Yeah, I mean, if I could pick a single day to be anywhere in the history of sport, that certainly would be a top 5. 2019.
Yeah, God, that or the chip.
Yeah. Was that 2005?
Yeah. Oh, mate. I could do this all day. It's just so good that it's back.
It is also notable, and I think this might be something people could easily criticise us for. I don't think there seems to be anything that Tiger Woods can do to stop us loving him.
Oh no,
because he's doing his best.
Oh, absolutely not. No, like the man's got an opioid addiction. It would appear. Don't want to besmirch his character, but he obviously.
I thought we weren't talking about drugs today, Ben.
Well, I understand the criticism, but he's had a lot of surgery and he's clearly addicted. Do you know what I mean?
He wouldn't be the first person.
No,
I mean,
sure.
America has a massive opioid addiction problem because people were giving them like candy after relatively minor surgeries in the 90s and 2000s. There's plenty of dramas and documentaries about it.
Yeah.
Crooked as hell.
My goat sacrificed his body so that I could watch him just rack up majors and win at Augusta. I'm gonna cut him some slack when that body falls apart and he needs prescribed medication, and then that prescribed medication becomes he becomes reliant on it to a certain extent. He shouldn't get in a car, fine, but the man needs help. He doesn't need smashing.
I mean, he doesn't need to drive, I think is the point.
Yeah, he doesn't need to drive. Of course,
the man can afford a driver.
Yeah, of course he doesn't need to drive. I'm not defending the driving under the influence. He never has to get in a car ever again. He's doing it for the love of the game. But the serious point is that if you're poorly, then your judgment's impaired, and so maybe help him. And I wouldn't say that just because he's Tiger Woods. I'd say that of anybody who is afflicted with a debilitating addiction. But yeah, he's my goat. I'm never going to hate him. Maybe if he turns into OJ, I'll hate him. But I'll draw the line at domestic violence murder. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for setting that stall out there. Your red line in the sand.
Hey, look, we've all got to have standards. There's some lines you just don't cross.
Aye. Well, 2,000 rushing yards though, Ben.
Oh, mate. Yeah, filthy. 1 year. I saw something about the Buffalo Bills, how it's all their fault that the Kardashians are famous, basically.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite butterfly effects in history for anyone who doesn't know. The year before they drafted OJ, they had a pass to win a game, last game of the season, and they messed it up. Because of that, they finished last in the standings. They got first pick in the next draft. They used it to pick OJ Simpson. OJ Simpson moved to Buffalo. He met his future wife. They obviously got married, eventually moved. He did what he did. Let's not pretend otherwise. And defending him at his trial, amongst others, was a certain Robert Kardashian. He became famous. He became a household name. 10 years later, his various daughters and ex-wife and her ex-husband. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's mad. The whole
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner. That's a nice little circle to bring us back round, because then you're allowed to run people over.
Oh god, here we go. Yeah.
and then you get wait a minute.
That's not the direction I thought you were going with that. I thought we're back around to a sports star.
No, we're
A
back.
former Olympian.
We're back around to driving offences, which may or may not go unpunished because of their status. Anyhow, less
It's
about
a lovely tight circle.
Yeah, I mean OJ's always going to come up when we're chewing the fat because all routes lead back to OJ Simpson. But we are talking Masters stuff, so let's get back to the nicer elements of the Masters.
Indeed. I forgot we were talking about the Masters.
No,
What do you want to talk about?
well, I don't know. Like I've been watching the par 3. Have you been watching that? It's been enjoyable. One of the great traditions.
No, I've been too busy checking the news to make sure the world's not on fire, but I suppose now temporarily it isn't. Bearing in mind we're recording this on Wednesday, it might very well be by the time this gets released. Maybe I'll try watching the par 3.
Mate, it's light relief if you need it.
I think we do. I think we all do.
All the family members are out there. Poppy McElroy is back, looking to drain more.
Yes.
18-footers.
Legend.
I think
The highlight.
Fleetwood.
The highlight of last year's.
Yeah, great stuff, wasn't it? Really nice. Fleetwood's got his son there as well. You know, he's not not the only one. There's a lot of the players have got their children there. Kevin Hart is out with Bryson DeChambeau, which is a lot of fun.
Of course he is.
I might have got this wrong, but I think the elder Kelsey might be caddying for someone as well.
As in Jason.
Yes, but I might be wrong about that. I might be wrong.
Fair enough.
I only caught I caught a glimpse of someone who I thought looked like him, but I've been and as we always say, I've been wrong before. But it's good viewing, mate. Par 3, and I think the Champions Dinner was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what Rory made? All I heard was his interview where he talked about not going more Irish with his food choices because
he wanted to
enjoy his dinner as well.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good.
I love the Irish in many ways, but they're not known for their cuisine, to be fair.
No, they're not. I think obviously it's all nice.
Speaking very much as an Englishman who also we are not known for our cuisine, so all the same.
Yeah. Well, we're from the same Isles. Yeah. Mate, should we get into the actual golf?
You were right about Jason Kelsey, but yes, why not?
Oh, thanks.
Let's get into the actual golf.
Glad I recognised him. The actual golf. The thing I love about the Masters, and I know that one of the reasons you love it, is it's one of those events that is so damn hard to win.
Yeah.
Only 18 multiple winners in its history.
Which is incredible when you think about it. You would think somewhere like Augusta, well, a tournament like the Masters would produce more multiple winners, because if you have the skills to win one, you should, in theory, have the skills to win multiple because it's the same course every year. It's not like the US Open, which can go from a driver's paradise to a short game expert course the following year and require a completely different skill set to win. Theoretically, the same skill set should win the Masters every year.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't.
It does not. I mean, like, only the real GOATs have got multiple wins. I mean, we're talking... I'll just chuck a couple of names out there, make you feel some stuff. Nicklaus, Woods, Faldo, Mickelson, Ballesteros, Olathabal, Hogan, Arnold Palmer, Snead. Yeah.
I was just sat there like, you're not going to forget Arnold Palmer. Don't you dare forget Arnold Palmer. Yeah.
Mate.
It's I think I've realised on the back of McElroy's win, which came off the back of multiple beautiful iron shots, as in second shots, as in approach shots. I think that's what I love most about golf. When someone is, well, especially when it's a blind shot, which some of McElroy's were, or a particularly difficult shot, or a small target, or zero room for error, which you get a lot at the Masters. When they nail it, I don't think there's anything better in golf than that. I think that's why I love Augusta, particularly.
It's got that kind of approach. It's had a few amazing shots. I mean, like Bubba with that one out the trees where he whipped it. Landed it.
Absolute joke of a shot.
6 feet or
Had
something.
No right to do that.
Yeah, we've already mentioned...
Google all these, by the way. We'll put some in the show notes, but
good idea.
Bubba's shot is, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, crazy
to be in
stuff.
that bad a position and, as you say, get within 6 feet.
Yeah. We've already mentioned Woods. We haven't mentioned, but I think we might have spoke about it on the original episode, the Gene Sarazen shot. The shot heard around the world. 3 back.
Yeah.
Hits an absolute long ball with what would have been a forward at the time. Oh, how far was it?
Albatross, wasn't it?
It was... It's on the 15th. 232-yard modern day forward. Double eagle. So, yeah. Albatross.
Yeah, Albatross, yeah.
3 back.
You love to see it.
Tied him, and then he took it Took it to a playoff and won the playoff. So yeah, no wonder it's famous. Plaque, and there's a plaque and a bridge named after it.
Yeah.
There's also a story, which I know you're chomping at the bit to tell, so maybe this is the right time to tell it, involving an excellent shot. One of the greats.
Yeah, do Google this one as well. So I think, actually, Bubba Watson's one's another good example of this. One of the things that gets people at Augusta is indecision. It's, shall I do this? Should I do that? The course challenges you in many ways and, challenges you to gamble in certain situations, or do you play it safe? It makes you think, and you can get inside your own head and make the wrong decisions. With Bubba Watson's shot, and this one I'm about to tell you, they didn't have a choice. They basically were left with a single option, which was to aim for the pin and hope for the best.
It's really interesting that you bring that up, though, and I don't intend to divert you away from this story, but momentarily just indulge me. That kind of mindset, I mean, there are so many examples of it. McIlroy himself afflicted by it. Greg Norman famously. Jordan Spieth's had meltdowns there. Like, it can really get inside. It's almost insidious once it gnaws its way in, that doubt.
Because you make one wrong decision, it can ruin your round, as Jordan Spieth found out very dramatically, 10, 15 years ago. This one is about Larry Mize, and Larry Mize was born and raised in Augusta itself. By 1987, the Masters obviously had seen many legendary tournaments, but no homegrown player, no Augusta native had won the Masters by 1987. And it goes without saying that Larry Mize had a lifelong dream, and of course that was to win it, because every spring as a boy he'd be at the course, he'd be volunteering. He used to work the scoreboard on the third hole because it got him into the ground, where he'd rub shoulders with the great, his absolute hero, of course, the Golden Bear himself, Jack Nicklaus.
Not my goat.
Not your goat, no, but I think if you were born 30 years earlier, maybe you would have been.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So he was a good player, Larry Mize. He got to the 36th in the world by 1987, so he was there or thereabouts, but by no means the favourites. The favourites that year were world number 1, Greg Norman, who we've already mentioned, and world number 3, Seve Ballesteros, both of whom had narrowly missed out on winning it the year before, 1986. Seve was leading until the 15th, where he hit what would have been a very good setup, dragged it into the water. That cost him his title. And Greg Norman, who had bad luck at the Masters, and this was one of those years where he missed out to Jack Nicklaus in the final round, that famous Jack Nicklaus putt that we talked about.
Agonising, because he did not have any luck there at Augusta. Don't feel sorry for Seve, he won a couple.
So yeah, 1987, Mize was far from the favourite, but by the time he'd completed 72 holes, he was tied level with those two. He was tied level with Norman and Ballesteros. Greg Norman had a chance to win it with a 20-foot putt, tickled the left-hand side of the hole, but stayed out. Yet another heartbreaking moment in a career which did not see a Masters win for Greg Norman, again, which we talked about last year. So I went to a playoff. First hole 10, started the playoff one. Ballesteros hit a bogey and was eliminated. So it left just Mize and Norman head-to-head. Mize hit a bad second shot, and as we said, Augusta is a second shot course. You hit a bad second shot, you can be in trouble. Norman was on the green. 2-putting was almost a certainty. It was an unlikely 1-putt, but he was going to get it down in 4, which meant basically Larry Mize had to get it in or get it close from his chip, and he described his position as like purgatory. He was 140 feet away from the pin, with very little green behind the ball to aim for, and then a water hazard behind that. The greens were running super fast, so landing it on the green, you would not be able to slow it down in time. The only chance he had, and the only choice he had, the only shot he had to play, was to land it on the fringe around the green, take a bit of pace off it, and basically aim for the hole and hope it went in. If it missed, maybe it'll end up on the back of the green or on the rough before it went into the water hazard. So he lines up the shot, says a little prayer, and hopes someone's listening. And guess what happened, Ben?
Hail Mary. Get in the hole! Mashed potatoes!
The CBS commentators famously did not say anything for 41 seconds because they were so gobstruck by it going in. Norman missed his putt.
That's it.
And
game over.
Game was over. Shook his hand. Another second place finish. One of 3. 1996 being another one, famous one, which was the worst of the lot for him. But
the head loss, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Greg Norman last year if you're interested. But yeah, you love to see it. And it was even better, obviously, him being a local. But obviously, winning it gives you the right to come back every year. It gives you the green jacket, of course, which you keep at the club. You come back for the Champions Dinner every year. Yeah. You get to rub shoulders with your heroes because the previous year's winner, Jack Nicklaus was the one who put his green jacket on him. That must have been a hell of a moment.
Oh, wow, that's unbelievable.
Can you imagine?
It's like, that is like childhood dream stuff. Like, if you're only ever going to win one major or whatever, or, you know, if you're only ever going to win one tournament even, like, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Oh, I can't think of anything better. He carried on playing at the Masters until, I think, 2023 was his last one.
Oh,
Obviously,
really?
he still comes for the Champions Dinner, but he carried on playing for about 40 years. Not quite Arnold Palmer levels of continuing to come back, but not far off. And he describes himself quite simply as being a very lucky man for having the experience. So
that's so good. I love the I love the fact that, like you say, he's just in a position there where it's sort of like, shut your eyes and execute, mate. Just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Like, and then sometimes it comes off, you know. Sometimes it comes off. Unbelievable.
If it had gone an inch to the left or an inch to the right, we wouldn't be talking about him. But we are talking about him. That's sport. That's lovely stuff.
That's sport, man. Like, that's just how this thing operates. Oh God, yeah. I mean, like, this is the thing. This is the thing that's so good about Augusta. It's so good about sport generally, but obviously, like, talking about the golf specifically, like, it just chucks up story after story after story. And we told a few on the first one. We could tell loads, you know, and just spin yarns. And some of them are like, they're not really believable. Like the Saracen shot, for example, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Like the Woods chip that we already mentioned. Like this story, like, if they do genuinely seem make believe.
I mean, Tiger Woods alone, like, think of 3 of his victories, winning the first one by 12 shots as a 21-year-old, winning 2005 with that chip, and then winning 2019, obviously, when everyone thought he was dead and buried. He'd had the first of his life dramas, shall we say, but a comeback, brought himself back to full fitness and won it.
These
Incredible.
stories go back to like almost the very beginning. I mean, it's not actually that older event, is it? Like the 9 pre-war tournaments or something?
Yeah, 1934.
But like, just to give you a little flavour of like comeback stories, mentioned Ben Hogan earlier. So post-war, there was like the first sort of rivalry era, I guess you would call it, which was between like Ben Hogan, Sam Snead. Snead being the first person to ever put on the green jacket. He was the first person to be awarded one for his winning 49.
49. Correct.
And then and Jimmy Demerit as well, who also won a few titles of his own, who had a great nickname. He was called the Wardrobe because he dressed sort of quite flamboyantly. So they nicknamed him
Fair
the
enough.
Wardrobe. And Hogan, obviously. And the reason I mention it is because, and we're talking about comebacks and we're talking about ridiculous stories. I didn't know this about Ben Hogan, but he nearly died in 1949 in an atrocious car accident where
I didn't know that.
he was driving in fog along quite a narrow road, and there was a Greyhound bus overtaking a truck. And guess what happened? Head-on collision. He was doing about 30, and I think the truck probably doing something similar, maybe a bit quicker. So we're talking like closing speed of like 70 mile an hour. Truck weighs, the bus weighs
I was
like
going to say
many tons.
It's not the closing speed, which is the problem there. It's the relative mass of the two objects.
Yeah, and so
and therefore the forces being applied to his vehicle and possibly himself as well.
And you'll hear about the forces, mate. His immediate, I guess, instinctive, reactive thought was to protect his wife. So he dived across the car out of the driver's seat in front of her, which saves his life because the steering column gets smashed up through where he would have been sitting, would have killed him instantly. The steering wheel comes flying forward with the steering column, shatters his collarbone, and then the engine crushes into the front of the car, crushing his left leg. He's obviously quite seriously injured, so is his wife. Some people attend, he's going into like shock and all this stuff. And anyway, he nearly dies. He doesn't die. They both survive. And that's in 1949. He won the Masters in 51. And then again in 53.
For various reasons, puts Tiger Woods' comeback into a bit of context there.
He was a lucky boy, Ben Hogan, for sure. And I really didn't know about him, but yeah, comebacks everywhere, mate.
If you believe in karma, if his first instinct is to save his wife, and that's what saves his life,
yeah,
that sounds like karma to me.
Yeah, and then he gets his rewards only a couple of years later. Like in those days as well, that kind of medicine is not. I don't know. I just don't know how you survive a crash like that in cars like that in that era. But lucky.
No, I can't imagine the physio and the reconstructive surgery and the rehabilitation is quite to the same standards of today. But I guess if you're determined and you work hard,
and you're lucky,
anything's possible. That's it. And you're lucky, yeah. Which of course he was.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, they have a
good newspaper headline: Hogan's greatest win, saving his gal Val.
Classic.
Excellent.
Back in the day, they knew how to write headlines. Yeah, that actually gives us a nice little lead in, accidentally or otherwise. Though that era led into to the People's Champ, Arnold.
Yeah,
he was the first superstar.
What a guy.
Really. I think I've got a quote from Jack Nicklaus about him. Let me have a look. No one did more to popularise the sport than Palmer. His dashing presence single-handedly took golf out of country clubs and into the mainstream. Quite simply, he made golf cool.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, golf isn't cool. It still isn't really cool. It's certainly cool than it was, and obviously Tiger Woods has a lot to be thanked for that. But I mean, it's not. It's conservative white old men. Still, 90% of golf players in the world. It can hardly be called cool, but he genuinely was. I mean, he had young fans. He had an army of fans, Arnie's Army, as they were called. His fans used to travel around following him everywhere and bringing some noise and bringing a bit more atmosphere to the events.
What was that story that we told last time about one of his shots at Augusta? It might have been on like the third green or something, where he hit it long into the crowd and then the ball just appeared out of the crowd and like rolled back onto the green, and they had obviously picked it up and thrown it back on.
A fortuitous bounce.
Yeah, he's adored, like nicknamed the King, basically the People's Champ, wasn't he?
Took a risk with his shot selection as well.
Yeah.
Didn't lay up like certain people do. Not naming any names.
Hey mate, like if you want to bring it up again, we'll go there. You're not getting nicknamed the People's Champ. Let's put it that way.
No, I would have 0 fans. 0 fans and lots of money if I was any good.
Yeah. You also wouldn't have a drink named after you.
I definitely wouldn't have a drink named after me. Certainly not a very nice one.
But he was good as well. He wasn't just entertaining and popular. He was damn good. He's a 4-time champ. 1958, 1960, 1962 and 1964, which is an era of dominance, frankly, when it comes to Augusta.
Yeah, quite neat as well. If anyone's got OCD, that's quite pleasant, really. Nice 2-year gap in between all of them.
Yeah, I don't actually know who won at either side of him, actually. That's quite an interesting question. Might look that up.
Nicholas definitely won at least one of them, because his first one, I think, was, I want to say 63 was his first.
Right.
Yes. Jack Nicklaus won his first in 63.
Nice. And then let's have a look. Who else got them around him? Oh, God, it was a good era. And this is a nice little, this just tees us up nicely for the next thing. It went Palmer, Art Wall Jr., whoever he was, Palmer again, Gary Player, Palmer again.
Gary Player, yeah.
Jack Nicklaus, Palmer again, Jack Nicklaus. Ooh, that's an era.
I was going to say, I bet it's Gary Player, because he was 1961, yeah. He'd won the Open in 1959, but the first non-American to win it.
He was.
South African Gary Player.
Do you want to know something absolutely wild about him? Because he was in the par 3.
Always.
He is nicknamed Mr. Fitness, and he is 90.
Oh, he's a freak.
He's 90.
Yeah.
Look at the dude. He looks about 65. It's insane.
He's incredible. I can't say anything else.
Genuinely, like, I was
that man looks after himself.
Yeah, I was astonished, mate. 3-time winner as well at Augusta. He's the first foreign winner. He was also the first person to take the green jacket off the ground.
Oh, really?
For the uninitiated, the green jacket is obviously reserved for the winners. You've already said that, Jack. But the jackets are kept at the club, and taking them off the premises is forbidden. Club rules don't allow you to do so. The exception is the winner, who can take it home and then return it to the club the following year. But that's a new rule instigated because when Gary Player won it, he didn't know that. So he packed his jacket and went home, and he actually took it home not the year he won either. So I think he lost to Palmer in 62 in a playoff, and it was after that he was like, right, I'm out of here with my jacket. And then he got a phone call from the club chairman, Clifford Roberts, at the time, and was just like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I didn't even know I was supposed to leave it there. So he had to bring it back. So yeah.
Naughty.
But interesting bloke, Gary Player.
I've got another fun fact about him.
Yeah?
At the age of 77 years old, I think. Might be getting that wrong. No, 77, yeah. In 2013, he became the oldest athlete ever to pose nude in ESPN's The Magazine's annual body issue to inspire people to keep looking after themselves throughout their lives, no matter what their age is.
Fair enough. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. He takes that persona very seriously.
Just in case you're wondering what I'm currently looking at.
a naked Gary Player in his 70s.
If I could look that good at 77, I probably would too, to be fair.
I tell you what though, like I think he's really interesting in more ways than one, because being South African and being a gentleman of a certain age, you and I like to bring up apartheid and the complexities and the politics of it. He, in the 60s, so when he won like his first Masters, was supportive of apartheid and got a lot of criticism for it, as you might imagine. But to his credit, he obviously won the Masters again in 74, 78, was getting wiser. Perhaps his horizons were broadening given his profession. He was obviously spending a lot more time around people not necessarily from South Africa, not necessarily white South Africans all the time.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, he denounced apartheid, saying he'd basically been wrong, he'd been brainwashed, and had like the wool pulled over his eyes, essentially, by the regime, which, is not an insignificant thing to do. Think what you want about the original views, no problem, but you've got to give people credit when they can recognise their errors, and not many people were prepared to go on record and say things like that. So,
no,
yeah,
fair enough.
Without pedestaling him too much, I do think that goes some way to demonstrating the character of the man, as well as the sporting prowess.
Yeah, can't disagree.
He is going to be taking the ceremonial tee shot with Jack Nicklaus, 86 years of age.
Of course.
6-time champ. We've spoke about Nicklaus a lot. The Golden Bear, the man. And Tom Watson as well. 76-year-old Tom Watson.
Yeah,
who's
another legend.
2-time champ. Yeah. Because I've got a tidbit for you every time, Jack.
Love it.
Tom Watson is famous for his longevity. One in 77, one in 81. Considered one of the best links players of all time. But nearly pulled off, and this isn't a master story, unfortunately, but it's worth mentioning. Nearly pulled off one of the greatest sporting shocks at nearly 60 years of age. 26 years.
It broke my heart, this.
Yeah.
It did. I was so rooting for him. It was incredible.
26 years after his last major championship victory, he was leading after the second and third rounds of the Open Championship in 2009 at Turnberry. But went to a playoff and lost on, I think, the fourth hole.
Yeah.
But he had a chance to win the tournament. Missed an 8-foot putt, which is that's not an easy putt, to be fair. And then Stuart Sink took the title. Yeah.
It was. There's certain times in sports where you can just hear your heart pounding, and my heart was pounding for him, and I felt it's one of those things. I mean, I think it was appropriate that it happened at the British Open, because if there's one thing that the British love as much as a legendary victory, it's a heartbreaking defeat.
Oh, if you can't win, lose in style.
He lost in style, and it was beautiful. It was like he didn't balls it up, because as you say, an 8-footer is far from a gimme, but what could have been?
Oh yeah, sure.
What could have been?
That would have been.
Doesn't diminish him. What a player!
Straight into that would have been a movie immediately.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it doesn't diminish him at all. Two-time Masters champ is, that's gonna etch you into history. You're one of 18 to have done that, which is I like that actually. I didn't even pick that up earlier. 18 multiple champs, 18 holes. There's something going on there, isn't there? No, it's just a coincidence, but it's nice.
Rory might ruin it this year.
Well, yeah, Rory. Well, to bring him up, where does that sit for you?
Last year, I watched it. My heart was pounding. I did want Rory to win. I was happy when he did win. As we've mentioned before, as soon as he gets into a playoff with Justin Rose, there's sort of no loser in that scenario for us, because we're obviously big fans of Mr. Rose as well. But I think you always want to see history being made, and for him to become the 6th player to win a career Grand Slam, for him to do it, pulling off some of the most ridiculous iron shots that I've seen at that glorious arena of golf. Yeah, I think it's up there. Not quite Tiger 2019, but it's up there.
Yeah, I saw a debate the other day about whether or not it's the most impressive sporting performance under pressure ever, as in the playoff hole.
Oh right, yes. I mean, probably still no, but I mean, it's certainly impressive.
I agree, no. There is one, this is a debate for another day, but there's one that will just never be beaten. But yeah, it's worthy of being mentioned in that shortlist, though, I think, because it's not necessarily like the fact that he was, in a playoff hole in the Masters. He was in a playoff hole in the Masters, having not won the Masters, having blown the Masters a couple of times, having not won a major for 11 years, having been tipped to basically challenge all of the modern greats for their records and stuff, and just never really quite able to build on the early momentum of his career. I mean, he's a 5-time major winner, so let's put it into context. But nonetheless, he's genuinely considered an underachiever. But with that career Grand Slam on the line, he just no longer is, right?
Oh, for sure. But also, and I don't know if you mentioned this, also the fact that he could have won, he should have won, arguably, had he not. Did he bogey the final hole?
He had a putt to win. I don't know if it was a bogey.
Well, either way, he could have won it. He didn't.
Yeah.
Pick himself up and then do what he did. And that approach shot in the playoff hole was perfect.
Yeah.
Other than the fact it didn't go in.
Yeah.
Now, that was a gimme.
All those memes when it says when you call a Rory's playoff hole in the Masters instead of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean...
But in terms of being the highest pressure performance, I think Ben Stokes has done better than that twice, to be fair.
Yeah, but was he under pressure?
That's actually a good argument. He was under I think the World Cup final, he certainly was.
The World Cup final.
We've completely changed sport here.
Yeah, well, two
maybe not Headingley.
2 World Cup finals. The T20 one as
True.
well. He anchored us against Pakistan. Headingley, I don't think we could say he was under... He put himself under pressure in the end because he dragged England into a position where they might win. But yeah, that's very good. That's a very good Ben Stokes World Cup final 2019.
What were you thinking?
As in, what is the best?
Yeah,
the geezer who climbed the Dawn Wall.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a whole different level, isn't it?
He'll never be beaten. Like, I know that we're going off on a slight tangent here, but just to justify that pick very quickly, any mistake, you're dead. It had never been
that's a good place to start.
Never been done before, and this is the key thing. No one has tried it since. He is literally the only person to ever do it. And normally, when someone sets a record like that, someone else is like, "Oh, okay, that's opened my mind up to the possibilities." And people have just looked at that and gone, "Nah, you're all right."
Okay, fair enough.
That is the greatest sporting achievement that's ever been achieved, I think. But Rory's playoff hole is close. He wouldn't have died, but
he might have wanted to. If he got that wrong,
would have there would have been a huge emotional strain on him, I think, if that one had slipped by him. But yeah, I mean, this year's edition of the Masters, mate, the draw. Oh, some of the first round groupings.
I haven't seen it. Please enlighten me.
So I'll give you a few. I won't list them all, obviously, there's heaps of people in it. But obviously, McIlroy, as tradition dictates, will be playing in a group with the US Amateur Champion, Mason Howell, and last month's Players Championship winner, Cameron Young, which is a pretty good. It's always quite fun to see the US Amateur playing with the Masters champ, the reigning champ. But this group, oh my word, 3-time Augusta runner-up Justin Rose, who we've already said we're big fans of. He's starting.
I'd like him to win this year.
He's starting alongside Jordan Spieth, 2015 champ, and 5-time major champ Brooks Koepka.
Woo! Nice.
That's one to follow, isn't it? If you've got a ticket,
nice.
That's your group. There's a couple of other marquees though. Matt Fitzpatrick is going around with Bryson and Xander Schauffele. I think Scotty Scheffler's going for his 3rd win, isn't he, this year? Dustin Johnson, Shane Lowry, and Jason Day is a good triple.
Nice.
So yeah, there genuinely some really good groups, but that one with Rose, Spieth, and Koepka for me, that's what I would be following on the red button if there's an opportunity to do so. Yeah,
indeed.
Which leaves me to ask you the question you've already answered before we have a little chinwag about the National. Who would you want to win it?
Who do I want to win it?
Yeah,
you can't say the words 3 times runner-up to me and not want me to want, especially when he's an Englishman, Justin Rose. It would be very, very nice if Justin Rose was to do it, because that's the one regret you have with Rory winning it last year, is that, yes, he made history, but we missed the opportunity for a man who deserves probably to have won more majors than he has, although he has won. Is it 1 or 2?
I think he's got the one.
Just 1.
Yeah, I think he won the US. I think it was the US Open. Might be in the PGA. I think it was US. I agree.
He's very popular. He's very nice. Very nice man.
I agree with you, mate. And I think he deserves a green jacket for following that putt in the Ryder Cup. That strut. I'll never come to terms with that. That aura, just sinking it under pressure and then just following it in with that, like, just absolute swagger on him.
Yes. Can't disagree.
It was unbelievable. It's one of my favourite sporting moments from last year. So yeah, Masters is back, but it's not the only major sporting event of the weekend, as we have already tantalisingly set it up.
It's the day of the year where if you're a British person, there's no stigma attached to gambling.
Oh yeah, trash your life, mate, on Saturday.
Yeah, people just carrying around handfuls of £50 notes to hand to strangers, just in the off hopes they might win something. I won last year, although it wasn't a massive bet. I won £80 or whatever it was. That was lovely.
Nick Rocket,
it's nice.
The winning horse last year, Nick Rocket.
Yeah, well, I wasn't not going to bet on a name like that, which shows the level of thought that goes into some of my betting.
It's
fun.
Nick Rocket's running again, looking to defend. Last year's third place is in there as well. Grange Clare West, I think, is to finish that name. Grange Clare West is in.
Very nice.
And I think the big story is I Am Maximus is bidding to become the first horse to carry top weight to victory since the GOAT. And we've said it before, and we'll say it again. Our GOAT is not a goat. He's a horse. And his name is Red Rum.
It never gets old, that joke.
It never gets old. Yeah, Red Rum, mate.
You got personally complimented for that joke last year, by the way. Like, genuinely got a seal of approval. Be proud of yourself.
It was an accident. I'm not that witty. Yeah, look, I mean, that would be a remarkable feat if I Am Maximus does win at top weight, because Red Rum is the only horse to have done it in the modern era. 3-time champ, greatest horse that's ever been. And only Tiger Roll has defended it outside, well, in the 20th century, I think. 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, you were, which is amazing. That's the only other horse to have won it more than once, basically.
Yeah, I've been to Aintree twice, and I've never seen anyone but Tiger Roll win it.
That's incredible. So that's 2 great years to go.
And I didn't bet on him either time, as I mentioned.
Do you know what though? Like, the favourite is not like, it's dangerous to bet on the favourite. I've got some stats about favourites, which I'll share with you if you're interested.
This is me we're talking about.
I mean, like, I often bet on the favourite, and I think there's been quite a lot of. It might be recency bias, this, but I'm fairly sure the favourite has won a few times recently. But post-war, there's been 71 races, but only 12 have been favourites. 37 times the favourite has failed to complete the course, which means that there have been 22 other occasions where they have completed it but not won. So
I have to do the statistical analysis of that to check whether that's actually represents them being good or bad value for money.
But they often go off at about 10 to 1, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe 8 to 1. So, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
I guess.
No,
it's about statistically correct, I guess, on the betting odds.
Yeah, if you take into account a bit of profit for the old bookies, yeah, probably is about right.
Yeah, basically, if they make a mare or a grey favourite, don't bet on it.
As that never won.
Grey has only won 3 times in the history of the National, and there's only been 13 mares win. And this race has been going since 1839.
Solid.
So don't be duped. Or be duped, be seduced. Because the grey is probably going to be 100 to 1.
I mean, ultimately, we can tell you this all you like. We know perfectly well most of you are just going to
bet on the best name.
Bet on whoever's got the best name. Yeah, as I did last year and I won. So I am not besmirching that as an idea. It is, it's anyone can win it. It's a rat race, ultimately.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's, we mentioned it, didn't we, before when we spoke about it in a lot more detail. So if you want to know a little bit more about like the course and like traditions and the history and stuff, then feel free to go back to the very beginning and listen to our episode on it. But for those who are listening to stuff about the Grand National for the first time, it is actually mental, this course. 4.5 miles. That's nearly 7 kilometers for the American brethren. No, they like for European brethren. Yeah, I was going to say the Americans are with us on the Imperials. Yeah, you love a mile.
The Americans will do anything other than use a metric system.
But the reason it's significant is that it's over much bigger fences than you normally find on conventional national hunt tracks. And there are 16 of those fences topped with spruce from the Lake District. Did you know?
I did not. You
Yeah.
did not mention that last year, but that's a great little tidbit.
Yeah, because I think that over the years, me and you talked about this before, it gets made safer, and the spruce is there to be knocked off, so the horses don't trip on the fences, essentially.
Yeah, the fences are lower than they used to be.
Yes.
Although it's relative. They are still massive.
Very relative, because, 16 fences, 30 jumps. So there's 2 jumps that are only jumped once. I think that's right.
Yes.
Which is the 15th and the 16th. The chair and the water jump are only jumped once.
I was going to say the chair is definitely only jumped once.
Because they're on a...
For good reason.
For good reason. And they're on they're also on the home stretch.
Yes.
Which is why they're bypassed. But most of these fences are... I say most. At least 3 of these fences are very infamous. And there are a couple of others which are also famous in their own right. Beecher's Brook.
Yeah.
16 and 22. Named after Mr. Beecher, who hid there. The very first race.
Yeah,
which
we talked about last year.
Yeah, we talked about that last year. The chair, which you just said, because it's shaped like a chair. Is that the one where the landing is lower?
The landing is lower than the takeoff point.
Yeah.
Which is like, what was it the jockeys described it as? It's like jumping
blind
into nothingness.
Yeah.
Like, you can't see the floor when you take off.
Yeah. Crazy. And then probably the most iconic of all the jumps, and also probably the most iconic part of the course is the canal turn, which is a 90-degree turn where all the horses, all 34 of the declared horses, and it's turn 8, so it's not that, it's 8 and 24, but turn 8, you're normally going in most of the field, they bottleneck, and they effectively all jump through the fastest, like the apex of the corner, effectively. So yeah, it's pretty insane. You've got to be a little bit mad to run it. My favourite story of the fences, which I didn't know last time we spoke about this, is Valentine's Brook, which is fence 925.
Yeah.
The horse got its name from a horse called Valentine, which in 1840 jumped over it backwards.
Oh, really?
By accident. And
like
didn't fall.
Saquon Barkley move. That's impressive.
Yeah, and didn't fall. Came third.
Excellent.
Jumped hind legs first.
And made some people some money.
Yeah, he was leading. He was leading for a while. And I couldn't quite make out like the mechanics of it, like how it happened. I think it was like a bit of a melee, and it might have been a bit muddy or something, and he slipped as he was taking off, and so he was like turning as he was jumping, and he went over backwards.
I imagine it's a similar sort of thing to if you have a rear wheel drive car and you throw it around a corner and the back end flies out, you get a bit of oversteer. I imagine it was an oversteer situation as opposed to them actually actively jumping backwards. Probably got blocked at the front while the back legs slipped out and took him over backwards. But fair play for carrying on and landing it.
And the jockey didn't get unseated.
Yeah, I mean, deserves to have a fence named after it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I thought that was a cool origin story for the name. So Valentine's Brook, keep an eye out for it. See if anyone jumps it backwards.
Huh.
Yeah, and then I guess the other one is the water. The water jump. That's another fairly famous one, which is fairly self-explanatory. It's got water on one side of it.
It does.
Beecher's Brook used to.
Can confirm. Yeah.
Used to be a ditch full of water, but it's not anymore. Yeah, it's a cool. I mean, me and you, we could wax lyrical about like the craziness of the jockeys, couldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, they are brave. Simply put, they're brave. I mean, 30 jumps is mad as it is. They have to have total control and total faith and total trust and total sort of bond with the horse to be able to do it. And they care very deeply about the horse as well. I mean, we do talk last year, did talk about the controversy surrounding this race, and obviously the animal rights controversy every year. It seems that at the meet there is deaths. At the Grand National itself, there's more years that there are than there aren't, it feels like, that horses trip on the fences and have to be euthanized as a result, and the jockeys are doing everything they can to avoid that. I can't particularly say anything negative about the jockeys. They are brave, caring men and women who, I could not do that job, not just because I'm 6'4". I couldn't do that job, even if I was 5'3". It's crazy.
Yeah, it did, well, let's put it this way. Last year, only 16 finished out of 34, 3 fallers, 13 pulled up, and 1 horse was brought down by another one, and then the final one, to make up the difference, unseated their rider. So that's at least 5 jockeys thrown off effectively, or on horses falling over in one race. And that is comparatively safe because...
Yes, it's all relative. There's less horses in the race now, and as we say, the fences are small than they used to be. There used to be 40 horses and bigger fences. Now there's, 34 now? Is it still 34?
Yeah, 34 running.
It was what it was last year.
Yeah, same as last year.
They changed it.
No, it's
fair enough.
They've made quite a few changes. I mean, we spoke about the safety measures in a bit more detail, but other than reducing the lineup, they're doing a standing start now, which is quite interesting because they used to have a tape and everyone would run towards the tape and then lift the tape. Yeah,
I have a story about that in a bit, if you'd like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Why not now, since we brought the tape up?
This is the story of the 1993 Grand National, which is famously known as the race that never was.
Oh, the void.
And the reason it never was is because they messed up the start so badly. So 147th Grand National, before the race had even begun, there was 15 animal rights protesters that invaded the circuit near the first fence, delaying the start, obviously unsettling the horses and jockeys as well. Keith Brown was the starter. It was his last ever event before he retired. Now, I think the circumstances of this event may have contributed to a earlier than perhaps he planned retirement, but he'd been doing it for a few years. The first start attempt, several jockeys tangled in the sagging waterlogged tape, as you say. They used to drop a tape. The tape sagged. A few jockeys got caught in it. False start. The recall system did work the first time. Basically, how it worked is the starter, Brown in this case, he waved a red flag, and then he has an official about 100 yards up that sees him wave the flag and he stops the horses. So he had a man named Ken Evans relaying that information back and turning the horses back around. Second attempt, exactly the same happens again. It tangled around Richard Dunwoody's neck, one of the jockeys, and it caused another false start. However, this time, the recall flag, it wrapped around the flagpole, so he was waving it, but it wasn't waving properly, so he did not effectively signal the stop. And the horses had already passed the point before his colleague had the chance to warn them. So 30 out of 39 horses set off, believing the race was on, despite, because it was a false start, it was void from the start. The confusion was worsened by the protests earlier, apparently. They thought that officials waving flags, trying to stop them, were just more protesters getting onto the circus. So obviously blinkers on for the jockeys as well, just trying to get past them. The BBC commentary team carried on calling the race, but they kept warning the fans, just like, this is probably going to be voided. We'll keep commentating on it, but this is probably going to be voided.
Don't get too excited.
I love that. But yeah, obviously, the same thing happens as in any race. There was falls, there was refusals. The same thing as always happens. Some jockeys eventually pulled up. Peter Scudamore saw a trainer called Martin Pipe signalling for him to stop, so he stopped. There was horses in good positions who did get the signal and stopped, but still some horses carried on. And by the second circuit, there was still 14 horses left running the race. Some of them fell on the second circuit, and eventually there were a handful of horses, I think 7 horses in the end, ended up crossing the line and running the full circuit. Now, I feel particularly sorry for Escher Ness. Escher Ness was the quote-unquote winning horse on the day. And it's not just that they won the race, and obviously it got voided later, so it doesn't go in the history books. They ran it in the second fastest time ever.
Oh, wow.
So, to say... And you can make arguments like, okay, there was less horses than there would be normally.
Well, not many. If 30 went over the first jump.
Maybe that makes it slightly easier. No, there wasn't many. Yeah, exactly. But 50-1 horse running it in the second fastest time ever obviously was in good form. So who knows what could have happened if the race had gone away normally. Obviously, the Jockey Club quickly intervened to declare it void. The decision was quickly taken not to rerun the race because obviously, half the horses had run the full circuit already and some of them had fallen. And everything else. There was no chance of running it again. Bookmakers had to refund approximately £75 million worth of bets to punters, and obviously the public and media called it a farce and a shambles, as you would expect for the British tabloids. There was an inquiry into it, because we love an inquiry to the British, led by a Knight of the Realm, of course, Sir Michael Connell. He found multiple failings in procedure and communication. Blame was placed on Keith Brown, the starter, but the recall official, Ken Evans, got even more blame than he did. Brown retired later that year, as I said. That was his final race, ending amidst controversy. Criticisms were made, changes were implemented. The key criticism was it was too much of a reliance on a visual flag with no backup system at all, no electronic system, no lighting system, nothing like that. So reforms were introduced, stronger starting tape, narrower start, multiple officials with high visibility flags, chase vehicles, as well, if needed. There was a debate over technology, but that was in fact rejected due to reliability and sabotage concerns. Think about the protesters hacking into the system and forcing a restart or not preventing a start from happening. As I said, the racer never was.
I love how that's a reason not to use technology when every other sport does.
It's actually, to be fair, it's not a bad excuse, to be fair. Like, if you wanted to mess around with sport, if you wanted to mess around with football or cricket or whatever,
but just
if you could hack into the system.
Yeah, but just have the ability to run it not without technology, but use technology first. It's like an engineering control. Like if it's more efficient, use it until you don't need to use it. Don't never use it in case someone breaks it.
I would be inclined to agree that, traditions and all that. It is still this underlying British conservatism that runs through every single sport and every single thing about our culture. So can probably apportion some of the blame to that as well. Probably just didn't want it to happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like you say, everyone likes the fact that there's a guy up there in a big white coat or whatever he's wearing and pulls up a big tape and everyone shouts, "Oh, they're off," and there's a roar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you get rid of that? Every time I look at the National, I'm reminded of the race that was void because it is just no result.
I always forget about it. I always forget about why. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, oh, was that the IRA? But 1997 was the IRA. It did get run. It just got ran on the Monday.
Yeah, it got delayed, didn't it? Yeah.
A bomb scare.
Uh-huh. I think we told that one on the original thing, didn't we? The IRA scare.
Yeah.
With
about a year before the Good Friday Agreement. So
yeah, they were
the very, very end of the troubles, if you could call it that at that point. Probably was.
It probably still was. Yeah, things like the Omagh bombing still happened.
I was going to think Omagh. That's what just popped into my head.
Yeah, Omagh bombing.
Yeah, and Arndale as well.
That was bad.
Not too far before that.
Yeah, Omagh was very bad. Yeah, look, the National's unbelievable. It's so fun. Like, it does throw up drama. This is one event where you're guaranteed drama, actually. Like, we talk about somewhere, like, we talked about the boat race, didn't we? And we were like, well, nothing really happens. Like, it's fun, but, like, nothing really happens. And nothing really did happen. Cambridge absolutely obliterated Oxford, as expected.
Commentators did their best to keep it exciting, saying, oh, look how close Oxford are. We weren't expecting this. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, they lost like 4 lengths.
Wasn't that interesting?
In the women's one, it was a bit more interesting because Oxford finally got a win. Men were obviously, like we just said, Cambridge won comfortably. Women got a win, a rare win for Oxford in the women's event. So that made it a bit more interesting, but it was still a non-contest. This event is a contest. It is absolutely chaotic, and no one knows who's going to win. You can't predict it.
No, you can give it a good guess, but honestly, you could bet on as you say, you could bet on the favourite or one of the favourites every single year and just never win if your luck is out, or you can bet on an outsider 2 years in a row and win both times. It is
bonkers.
I'm sure there is a certain amount of skill about it, a certain amount of experience that can be gained, but ultimately it is a punt.
Yeah, I think
to say the least.
If you're in it, I've no doubt there's a skill. It's just that it's just that there's a lot of luck. It's because you can't account for people falling around you or your horse making a mistake and this, that, and the other. But you can only minimize the probability of your horse making a mistake, I guess, because ultimately it is an animal.
It's just chaos, yeah.
But the only thing that is like, I mean, I don't want to end on a sour note, but if you could guarantee that horses wouldn't get hurt, this would be one of my favourite sporting events ever because it is just so good to watch. But it is hard to justify when they get really hurt. It's not nice. And they're doing things to improve it. Shorter run up to the first corner, lower field, changes in the fences, like you said, changing in the starting procedure. Don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for them. It's a dangerous sport. The horses are very well looked after generally. Adopt the moral position that you think is most appropriate.
Yeah, and I've got no problem at all with people
who don't like
taking a moral opposition to it. It does make me feel a bit funny. It is a battle between tradition in my head, battle between tradition and sporting, because it is a great sporting event. There is no doubt whatsoever.
Oh God, yeah.
As you say, if you could take the risk out of it, it's almost second to none. Certainly in terms of British sporting events. But yeah, ultimately horses are quite fragile creatures. They are bred to go fast and at speed and height and jumping fences and surrounded by the chaos of up to 33 other horses.
Yeah. And their legs are very thin.
Yeah, there can never be zero fatality risk. There can never be. All you can do is minimise it, look after the horses as best as possible, make sure there are vets on hand to hopefully treat them, or if not, at least give them a humane exit from the world.
Yeah.
All we can do, ultimately.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Maybe I can try and end on a more positive note, since we don't want to be Debbie Downers after giving it such a lauding.
No, that's not like us.
We didn't mention any women at the Masters, and that's because they don't have them. They have a 1 day or 2 day equivalent. But I thought you were
going to say they don't exist, and that actually would have been quite accurate. To be fair, as far as any men who ran the club were concerned, they certainly didn't exist.
Oh yeah, their mission
not in their safe space.
Their mission to Augusta was so late. I think we spoke about that before, didn't it? It's like in might even be like 2012 or something. Is like Condoleezza Rice? Is she like the first female member?
Condi Rice, yeah, it might have been after, because it wasn't when she was in government, so it must have been after 2009.
Yeah.
For that to be the case. So yeah, I think it was about 2012.
It's crazy. Like, and they now have a Augusta Championship, I think it's called, or something like that, which is a women's event. But they don't have a 4-day major the way the men do. But the National has, not do this every time. Not a great history of advocating for women's sport, but a better one than Augusta. Although Augusta sets an extremely low bar.
I was going to say that is basically the bar is almost on the floor. They just step over it.
Yeah, it's like almost non-existent bar. They've been in it. Women have been riding in the National since 1977. They've ridden in 24 of the Grand Nationals. Which is not many. It's like probably about 20% of them, if that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Geraldine Rees. She became the first person to compete on the course on Cheers in 1982. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, and then. It really sort of it's gained a lot more momentum recently, as all these things have, for good reason. But Katie Walsh is sort of the one that maybe broke the glass ceiling. She was the first female jockey to earn a placed finish. She came third on Seabass in 2012, same year that Condoleezza Rice was probably admitted to Augusta. And
it was 2012, yeah.
Which, that gives you some context. And then the big one, Rachel Blackmore. Became the first female jockey to win on Manila Times in 2021. So there has been a female jockey winner of the National, and there are plenty of female riders these days. Very good one.
It always surprised me that there wasn't more than there are, because the primary thing you want of a jockey is small in stature, and generally speaking, it is more common to find a woman who is 5 foot-ish than it is to find a man. Not that they don't exist, because jockeys obviously are quite a small bunch, but yeah, it surprised me. I guess it's just probably traditions and conservatism at play ultimately, but it is now changing. Yeah.
So yeah, want to talk about anything else to do with the National, or are you just going to look forward to the weekend? Because I've got one thing to tell you about Gianni.
No, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I always do look forward to it, and I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for making it through a year in 64 episodes, or whatever it's been. Some good, some bad, some in between, but we've stuck by it.
Yeah,
well done.
Hanging in there. Yeah.
Here's to another year.
Exactly. The show goes on.
And I should probably also say thank you everyone for listening to us. We really do appreciate it. And we hope we haven't been
too insufferable.
Too up our own arses.
I echo those sentiments. Anyone who does take the time to listen to us, that's obviously very kind. We assume that because we are self-deprecating and too effacing to think that we're good at this, too self-effacing that is, that no one really listens. But we know, because you see the data, that we do.
I do see the data.
That we do have people that do listen to us, and they do listen to us reasonably consistently, which is very lovely. And so, yeah, thank you. That's unexpected and perhaps undeserved, but we appreciate it.
Perhaps, but yes, definitely appreciate it. Anyway, Gianni.
Oh God, this is fun. He hasn't done a heap since we last spoke, and
he's been laying low for some reason. Can't think why.
Can't think why. But yeah, it's less about Gianni this week actually, and more about just the general corruption that you and I whinge about, which concerns Gianni, which is the International Olympic Committee.
I don't think it does concern Gianni. To be fair, I don't think he's concerned in the slightest.
Oh no!
But carry on.
Well, yes, depending on how one uses the phrase "concerned." The International Olympic Committee has cleared the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, of breaching political neutrality rules. That's good.
What was he accused of doing?
being not politically neutral.
And how would one describe him as being not politically neutral?
I don't.
Surely he gave prizes to the presidents of Mexico and Canada as well, not just the president of the United States, right? Because all three are actually hosting the World Cup, so I assume he was neutral in his political love there. Am I wrong?
Let's have a look. Let's get the details because this is obviously going to be stupid. As far as I can decipher from what is available, he has been cleared over breaches of the Olympic Charter. It is his connections to Donald Trump that fuel questions over his political neutrality. God, for some reason, this is weirdly inaccessible.
That's strange.
Right.
Who'd have thought it?
Who would have thought it?
So Gianni has been an IOC member since January 10th, 2020, apparently.
He's one of 107 members, and he attended Washington wearing a red cap bearing the letters USA.
That's not a political symbol at all, is it? Did they have a number on the side of it, or a couple of numbers?
45 and 47?
They might be the ones, yeah. Anyway, I would be of the opinion that obviously the best time to take Donald Trump's Peace Prize away from him would have been before you gave it to him. The next best time would probably have been a few weeks ago, not taking it away when he literally threatened Iran with total destruction and an end to their civilization that wouldn't be restored within centuries. Would probably have been quite an opportune time to do it. I don't know about you. Anyway, missed that boat, so never mind. Maybe next time.
Yeah. What can I say? Look, this is how the IOC responded through a spokesperson. Mate, we're going to have to draw this to a close in a moment because I will flip my lid. The IOC has been in contact with FIFA. We understand FIFA is supporting, through football, a comprehensive sports recovery investment program in Gaza, Palestine, by providing sporting infrastructure, education, and elite development proposals. This is entirely in keeping with the role of the International Sports Federation. The IOC, through the Olympic Solidarity, which is our development vehicle, has been and continues to support sports development in every region. That was their
Good for them.
That was their justification for doing fuck all. So yeah, that's what Gianni and the IOC have been up to. Our two favourite people and institutions.
Yeah. I mean, Gianni is just FIFA, isn't he? So might as well consider him FIFA and FIFA him at this point. So
indeed.
FIFA and the IOC. What lovely bedfellows.
Yeah. Right. Next week.
Marathons.
Marathon season?
We might be just about in marathon season.
Boston, London.
Probably do a bit of both. Boston Marathon on the 20th, London Marathon on the 26th. However, we do also have a very special episode to release around and about that time about the World Cheerleading Championships, which includes an interview with my friend Kelly.
Yes, who's going to it?
Who is going to it? She's a coach. She's been coaching for a number of years at cheerleading. So I spoke to her and dispelled some of the myths about cheerleading and talked about what she's up to in Florida. So that'll be exciting. So we'll get that out probably around a similar time.
And I will be on tenterhooks because I don't know the content of it because I wasn't there, and I'm really looking forward to it.
You weren't there,
so
I was sat in her living room. It was great.
Yeah. And thank you in advance, Kelly. I'm really looking forward.
Yeah,
to it.
she knows what she's talking about. That's my one teaser. It is definitely worth a listen.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So yeah, marathon season with some cheerleading. What is not to look forward to?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too.
Cool.
And thank you once again, mate. I really, really love doing this with you. It's very fun.
Well, here's to many years more. Why not?
Excellent. See you later.
See you later. Thank you as ever for joining us today and for the past year, however many episodes you've tuned into. As we say, we hope there's been more hits than misses. It's all we can really ask for. If you did enjoy them, please give us a like, a subscribe, a comment or whatever. And now is also a good time to tell a friend. After all, we made it this far and dozens of OJ Simpson references without getting cancelled quite yet. Our theme tune is Oh Yeah by Harmony Productions. You can find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at the Sporting Almanac. Next up, it's marathon season. Until then, wherever you are and whatever you're watching, remember, sport is nothing without the history that makes it. Goodbye.